Well, happy June 30th, everybody. Oh, my gosh, I can't believe it's the last day of the Mary Kay year. This is Diane Covington, and I feel so privileged to share with you. Now, I will tell you, some of you are going to listen to this message and say, I already finished my goal. I already crossed the finish line. I got my sales where I wanted them to be, or I'm a new red jacket, or I'm on target for a car, or I had my highest week ever. And I want to absolutely salute you and celebrate with you. And some of you are crossing the finish line, but you're not feeling... You're glad you're finishing, but you're not finishing where you want to finish. So I want to just address that really quick. It's important for your brain to experience a win. So if your goal was to sell, let's just throw out an even number. Let's say your goal was to sell $4,000 this month, and you're just finishing $2,000 in sales. What I will tell you is, rather than give up on the goal and say, well, I didn't make my 4, and beat yourself up, or say, have negative thoughts, because we all tend to do that, is instead say, wow, you know what? I sold 2,000, and what kind of momentum is that going to build me? Remember, guys, it's not over until tonight. So I'm going to share with you just a couple little stories of how racing to the finish and can make such a big difference. And I want you to jot something down. Jot this down. God will honor the chase. There have been several times in my career where the finish made no sense on paper. Like if you crunched the numbers and you looked at what I'd done or what I've done before, the numbers made no sense, okay? And yet, in my mind, it was done. And that's the difference. In your mind, is it done? Or did you wake up this morning and say, I don't think I'm going to finish. I'm going to give it my best, but I don't think I'm going to finish. It's kind of like saying, I'm going to try to lose weight. Well, you're either going to lose weight or you're not. Or I'll try to stay on my diet. You're either going to stay on the diet or you're not. Or I'll try to work out. Well, we either work out or we don't. And don't beat yourself up over that. That's just, it's a decision. But what I want to share with you guys is what's possible if you played full out. Like if you knew you couldn't fail, what could you do? What could you achieve by tonight? Now, let's say your goal was to be into DIQ, all right? And you're at team leader and you just don't see it happening. First of all, run to the finish line. The E-Star, I believe, is going away. Who else could you add to your team? Even if they don't place an order this month, even if they come in with a $30 Easter, you could still have 5 people join your team by tonight. So don't give up until it's over. Like, I'm going to cross the finish line with my tongue hanging out, breathing like, because I want to know that I gave it my all. Now, here's why that's important. When you truly play full out, and your brain knows that, and you cross the finish line, your brain still registers that as a win. But if you give up, let's say right now, you listen to this call and you've already given up on your goal. You're like, well, it's not happening. I'm going to do everything tomorrow. Then your brain will never experience a win. It never understands that stretch. It never understands that belief. It doesn't know what it doesn't know. It knows whatever you tell it. So if you want to set yourself up for a win, for a massive, successful, out the starting gate July, oh my gosh, then you better think big right now. Everything you do today is going to impact your July. Every phone call you make, every text you send, every follow-up that you do, everything you do, because some of it's going to happen today and some of it's going to spill into tomorrow and some of it's going to spill into the next day and the next day. So maybe you take, if you want to just fill your date book and you want to say, you know what, I'm going to have 6 parties in my books by tomorrow. If you want, one of the things I'm doing is I'm taking that crazy bundle that the company is giving us at 60%, the eye bundle with the hydrogel eye patches and the mascara and that one, because I believe it's 90, sorry, I don't have my figures in front. I think it's 97 retail and our cost is $38. So I'm letting a hostess have that whole bundle at half off, plus an additional 100 of anything she wants at half off, and then she gets additional 25 free for every friend that books. I said to people, I only have 8 sets. I only have 8 people that I can do this with. I mean, I ordered like 25 sets, but I want to keep some for customers. So I'm just telling some clients, hey, I can only do this with 8 people in July. All you need to do is let me know you want to get anywhere from 3 to 13 of your friends together, and that's it. That's all you got to do. And I send you an invitation, and we get it going. And I said, but please let me know because I can only do this with 8. And one gal goes, well, I already know I want to do it. When do I pick a date? And I said, well, let's pick the date right now. A couple people said, well, let me check with my kids or my husband or whatever, and I'll get back to you tomorrow. And I said, okay, well, I only have 8. I only have 8 spots, so let me know if you want one. So you guys, it's a decision. Crossing the finish line is a decision. Waking up this morning is a decision. Everything you do is a decision. So I want you to ask you, I want to ask you, are you expecting the best but preparing for the worst? Are you expecting that everyone's going to answer your phone when you call? Are you expecting that every person you text or call could be your next $1,000 hostess? So I want you to capitalize on what does come. You can't expect people to play ball with you if you don't throw the first pitch, right? So I kind of look at it every time I make a phone call and leave a message, every time I send a text, I just imagine an entire bucket of golf balls, like a huge, massive, like a 5-gallon paint bucket full of golf balls. And every time, this is an interesting visual, but every time I make a phone call, I feel like I just drove by and took a golf ball and threw it in her front yard. And every time I send a text, I throw another golf ball in someone else's front yard. Well, if that bucket holds like 50 golf balls, let's just say, and I leave 50 texts or 50 phone messages in a day, somebody, 50 out of 50 golf balls, someone's going to throw the golf ball back. Someone's going to pick up the ball from their lawn, and they're going to throw it back at me. Who's going to throw it back at me? I have no idea. I don't have a crystal ball. But it's kind of like detective work, because typically when you throw out 10 golf balls, at least 2 to 3 will throw the ball back. So sometimes I go, well, for every 8, you'll get a party booked. For every 8 contacts you do, you'll get a party booked. So I do a game where if I go 10 calls without a booking or 11 calls without a booking, I'm thinking, I'm going to get 2 in a row. Like I'm going to literally get a booking and a booking, because it averages out 1 out of 8 when you're making, like if you're tracking that bubble sheet, like where you record your calls. So if I don't get one and it's on to the next row, I'm thinking, I'm going to get 2 on this row. I'm going to get 2 or 3 really close together. So what are you expecting? Are you expecting the best? Are you capitalizing on what comes? You guys, you see, when you do the work and you believe in what you're doing, God will honor the chase. I also want to talk to you about what is the example you're setting for your team and your family. Your family is watching you. Your team is watching you. Your unit is watching you. Even if you don't have a team, your unit watches you. And you have to ask yourself, are you leaving a legacy of what you are about? A legacy is what you leave inside of somebody. Are you showing an example of integrity? Are you showing the example of greatness, impact, influence, and the ability to inspire the next group of leaders or the next generation? An inheritance is what you leave to someone. So maybe if you have somebody special and you want to open a secret savings account for them because you know they're struggling and you want them to have money, every time you earn money, you have the privilege of impacting another life. So just ask yourself, if you're struggling, it doesn't mean you're failing. It means you're still in the game. So you have a choice. You can pause and just kind of like spill into July. You can panic, which I don't recommend. Panic, you just shut down. You literally listen to this message and you just go, I'm done. Or you can pivot. And I know pivot was a very overused word in the last year, but you can literally say, you know what? I am destined for greatness. I deserve this. And stand in front of a mirror. You guys are going to laugh at me, but stand in front of a mirror for 3 minutes. Set a timer for 3 minutes with your hands on your hips, like with a fist, like Wonder Woman. And look in the mirror, and I want you to say positive things to yourself and smile at yourself. Say, I am one powerful, amazing woman. There's nothing I can't do. I can do everything. And you can even quote scripture. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Like, rattle off scripture, rattle off sayings. If you knew you couldn't fail, what would you want to do? If you knew whatever you attempted to do wouldn't fail, what would you attempt? What would you go for? So you guys, please make today amazing because you get to. Please make yourself stretch because it's important for your brain to experience a win. If every time your brain rubs up against something that doesn't come easy, then they're going to go, well, every time we do this, we always quit, so I'm not even going to try. Is that what you want your brain to focus on? I want my brain to say, you know what? You've done things before that made no sense on paper. Let's go for this goal. To the point where that becomes my new mantra. It's like if it's outside the bell curve, then it's like, hey, why not, right? So expect the best. Capitalize on what does come. And realize that in Mary Kay, you're either going forward or you're going backwards. And so know that you can get through anything. You've just got to believe that you can. All right, you guys have an amazing day and happy year end.